Welcome all of you here tonight. We'll get started. Ordinance to amend the code of the city of Spartanburg against smoking in public places.
This ordinance is an amendment of our current smoking requirement that was adopted several years ago. The current ordinance permits wide discretion to business owners and in locations to permit smoking. In 2008, the South Carolina Supreme Court ruled that local governments have the legal authority to adopt more restrictive ordinances, and since that time, approximately 38 local governments in the state have enacted various forms of smoking, smoke-free, generally referred to as smoke-free ordinances.
I am speaking in opposition of this smoking ban, but Mr. Mamet has clarified some of the questions I have. What we are apparently doing here is attempting to regulate 25 businesses out of 300 business permits. Is this really necessary? Is this a good use of our time and energy and money to do this? I don't think it is. Looking at downtown Spartanburg right now, walk down Church Street, walk down Main Street, look at the number of empty storefronts we have downtown already. How is additional regulation going to help attract business to downtown Spartanburg?
I smoked a pack a day for 20 years, and I haven't smoked a cigarette for 15 years, but by choice. I'm concerned with mandating behavior. I think that anyone who is in favor of this proposal has remedies at their disposal without government mandates. They can speak with boycott establishments if there's smoking at, say, Delaney's in a bar or a restaurant that a free enterprise chooses to have. Then the non-smoking public that doesn't like that can choose to not frequent that establishment.
My name is Ryan Trawick. My business partner and I own Main Street Pub. We also have a restaurant preparing to open in about 2 months at the old taproom location on West Main. I'm kind of torn. I'm not really opposed or in favor. I'm kind of in the middle right now. It just seems like there's a lot of little technicalities, I think, that need to be addressed before it's ironed out.
To put it quite bluntly, there have been businesses that I've stopped going to because they went non-smoking. That is my choice. I am well aware of every health risk that is involved, yet I choose to smoke. I believe that it should be the business's choice whether or not they allow smoking or not.
I am opposed to this ordinance as a infringement on freedoms. I feel it's capricious and discriminatory. It's just against smoking, not other tobacco products. If it's a health issue, I think we should probably do something about the main killer of Americans, which is heart. And that comes from 90% of that is diabetes. I think you should ban sugar and all sugar products in the county. If it's about health, I think you should ban the exhaust of cars. Ban the cars from the county, or put such an unreasonable tax on them that nobody would want to have one.
About a change in culture, I feel like that, you know, when I grew up, things were a lot different. I mean, everything smoked. Cars smoked, the big smokestack where they're building that medical school, I remember black smoke belching out of it, you know, just, we stop at a traffic light and we have our windows down because nobody had air conditioning, and smoke bellowed up from under cars and everybody in the car was smoking. I go to visit my relatives and they were all smoking, and so we just grew up with that, you know, and then somewhere along the line, you know, somebody said, well, you know, this might be bad for us. And so over time, we've come into a different world, you know, and that people just don't like smoke as much. I mean, it used to be, like I say, everywhere there was smoke. And now I go to a restaurant and it's a smoking restaurant, but I like the food, and all of a sudden, way over there, somebody lights up, and I say, oh my God, you know, and then everybody around us is uncomfortable. So it is a definite change in culture. But it's no different a change in culture as when 100 years ago there was no landfills and everybody threw their garbage in ditches near behind their house, and then we learned that there was a better way.
I'm also here to speak on behalf of someone who can no longer, and that was my stepdad, who passed away 4 years ago. He was an honorable man who served our country during World War II. He worked as a private pilot and later worked as an air traffic controller. He never smoked a cigarette in his life, but in the course of his work as an air traffic controller, in those days, they still allowed the air traffic controllers to smoke. And in a confined space, as you can imagine a control tower is, he was exposed to secondhand smoke. And he contracted lung cancer and subsequently died what I would describe as a horrible, horrible death. If you've ever seen anyone die from cancer, you know what it's like. So please think of Vincent Ermel as you decide about this, and all those who are exposed to secondhand smoke, whether it's our children, the waitresses, the wait staff who have to work in these establishments.
I'm Dr. Sid Fulmer, and thank you for allowing me a few minutes to express my support for a smoke-free workplace ordinance. During the years of my practice, our knowledge of the hazards and devastation caused by cigarette smoking has grown rapidly year by year. I have had firsthand experience with patients with lung cancer, bladder cancer, cancers of the larynx, breathing disorders, almost all with cigarette-related histories, and causing problems that tax the resources and facilities of healthcare providers and adding millions of dollars in healthcare costs.
You know, we're going to let them go outside. It's going to be all confusing and take the food out there. But we're going to ban it. Why don't we just ban it? We don't give anybody an unfair advantage. The first thing you know, every one of these restaurants is going to have a smoking area back in behind the building. So let's just ban it.
I think that we as a council believe in the public health of this community. I think that we do see this, based on the comments that each of us have said, that we do see this as a public health issue. Regardless of the devil in the details, if you will, I think that we see this as an economic development issue. I think we believe that this is a health issue, and we truly, and now I will speak for myself, we want this to be a healthy Spartanburg. We want to move forward with the broad community to truly be healthier, and this is one step in that process.
We're going to call for the vote with the amendments. All in favor of passing this, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So we got 5-2. Clear courtroom.